Hello everyone, this is the Pennsylvania and Florida Eastern. This is my 100th video that I've been making. I don't know what to say, to be honest. This is really like a new test part for my reviews and train talks, and I guess this is finally the first train talk, really. As usual, I don't do any editing, so this train talk we're going to be talking about my more popular viewed steam engines and other locomotives on the channel. I don't think I'm going to bring out any diesels, but I think I might bring out my Louisa Nashville diesels, which were my first HO diesels that I got going into DCC HO scale. So right now I have a Q2 on the layouts of Broadway Limited Imports Paragon 2 Q2. It's old. This is an old engine, but it runs pretty much like brand new. If you see my review on this engine, I say that this is one of the best Broadway Limited engines out there. Is it the toughest puller? I don't have enough cars to really do it. I want to do it by freight car, not really by like a mix of passenger and freight, because that kind of gets a little bit twisted up a bit. But it's a pretty strong puller. It can pull a decent, long enough train. We're going to run some trains today as I talk about my models and whatnot, and maybe plans of what I'm going to do in the future. Currently, there's not really much going on at the moment. I just haven't really thought about what I want to do pretty much next. I do have an idea, but not sure really there yet. So right now we're just going to be running and talk about the locomotives that I have. I do have a T1, the as-delivered version behind the Q2, and the Bachmann K4 that came out 8 years ago. 7 or 8 years ago, really. I also have off screen to my right hand side, I do have my Rivarossi passenger cars that are New York Central, specifically 20th Century Limited, and I do have my brass hybrid Dreyfuss Hudson with Paragon 4 on my right hand side, which I also say is a really great locomotive. If you have the Paragon 2, you know it's a great locomotive. For some reason, the brass engines tend to be pretty well made compared to their, normal, $400 and down usual models. But we won't go into the rant about Broadway, at least right now. Right now, we're going to run some trains, and then we're going to talk about it as we run them. So we're going to start up 6187. Power's on. Headlights always on for some reason. I don't know why, but it's whatever. I have a club member at my Palm Beach Model Railroaders Club. He has a Q2 still. I heard he sold a lot of his train collection away, but he says the Q2 he's going to really hold on to. So I'm impressed. Before I got this Q2, I was going to see if I can get his, but he said it was not for sale, and understandably so. I'm not going to sell mine either. This is such a nice engine. It's a great runner. It's got great sounds, too. Turn on the dynamo. This engine does have some paint chips. Really small, not a lot. Like, there's probably there's like a little smidge under the rear trailing truck and under the deck plate between the tender and the cab. There's an exposed area for bare brass, but I haven't seen any like tarnishing, so whatever. But yeah, it's a really good model. It's in really great shape. I think I got a good price on it before people started going crazy with the prices. I again about pricing for these engines, they are kind of ridiculous now. Probably looking around at least $900. This doesn't mean you can't get them below that. It can happen, but good luck. Especially if somebody wants to sell one of these. These are really rare. They could possibly be the rarest Broadway Limited steam engine, or probably the rarest brass hybrid engine. I know some people are probably thinking the i5 a bit, but the i5 had 2 runs, 2 major areas. Specifically the Paragon 1, Paragon 2. I don't know exactly which one's better, but I know one of them's better because you can open, like, I think doors on one of them. I forgot which one it was. I don't know if it was a Paragon 2 or Paragon 1, but usually people price them around similar prices, but I think Paragon 2 goes more. They only made, I think, 2 runs of these in Paragon 2. But after that, they have never made them again, and some people are wondering why hasn't the Q2 not been made again, especially for Paragon 4. Or you would think that would be like one of the coolest engines to see on the Paragon 4 catalog or something. But as the story goes, it's not set in stone. I don't think it's official, really, but that Broadway Limited talked about it. But this engine, I think, either plates and design was lost in like a factory fire or something, or they just lost it. I don't know how, but that's just how the story goes. They're never gonna make these again unless they, maybe get funding for it. I don't know how, if they'll ever make these again. They probably won't. I mean, who knows? It's you can't say never until they do it. I mean, they made the New York Central Dreyfuss Hudsons again. But the Q2 is just going to be a tough one. If you want to get a Pennsylvania Q2, hold on. Oh, there we go. I would look for the brass, the older brass ones. I know the Broadway Limited one comes with the sound already, and it's already painted, and it's nicely painted. This is a really nicely painted engine. It's just going to be harder to get, and it's going to be much more expensive to get. It's such a nice little whistle. So we'll get her running. We'll still continue discussing about it. And I gotta turn off the smoke generator. I like the orange glow of the headlight, although I believe on the video it doesn't really show it. I gotta move my Rivarossi box a little bit away from the curve. But yeah, she's a solid runner. She could probably last for God knows how long a time. Just painted crew figures in there too. It's got rear marker lights. It's just such an amazing locomotive. But yeah, if you definitely want to get a Pennsylvania Railroad Q2, if you're a Pennsylvania modeler or you want big steam, you definitely want to get one of those West Side brass ones. There is one on eBay right now. It's a bit pricey. I think it's around $600, $500, $600. It's painted. It might need some touch-up work because it looks like it's got some foam gripping onto the body of the locomotive. Not like a whole bunch of foam. It's like you gotta clean it off. You gotta clean it. It's like foam deterioration, pretty much. But yeah, if you want to get a Q2 as soon as possible, check out the West Side Brass. You could probably look up what motors you should replace the old motor with if it still has the original motor. If not, then I would suggest getting TCS WoW if it already has a good motor, and just plug that in, wire it up, customize it with your own LEDs and whatnot. And I'm pretty sure you would have a solid model. If you feel like the paintwork is not good, just make sure you figure out how to get the correct DGLE color. It doesn't have to be 100% correct, but you definitely want to get it right if you want to get that, like, Broadway Limited almost quality. It's just amazing how well they made the DGLE for their Broadway Limited models. I don't really usually run this engine fast, though. I usually run it around like notch 2 on my Digitrax Zephyr controller, or between notch 2 and notch 3. I'm pretty sure this engine could do some fast freight. I don't know why I don't like going faster. Maybe it's because of that conscious feeling of the price, but you know what? I'm not gonna sell it anyway, so I'm not really so worried. I'd probably run this engine more than a lot of people would probably run it. It's such a quiet running model for its age. And a while back, if you see any of my older videos about the Q2 running, when I got the engine, all the drive wheels were in sync with each other. They weren't out of sync. And I did that at some point because one of my friends told me, it's bothering me that, they're not out of sync. And I'm like, yeah, I get it, because my T1s, they're rarely in sync. I don't think they'll ever be in sync. They're just how it's built, and I'm like, yeah, it does look better if you make them out of sync, and I did it. It's actually super simple. You want to definitely do it at the front set of drivers. It's super easy. All you have to do is just unscrew the bottom plate a little bit, and just rotate the wheels, the drive wheels around however way you want, and it does it super easily. And then you put it back in, and then it's ready to go again. And there you go. You got non-synchronous running. It's really cool. It's super easy. I mean, I'm glad Broadway Limited didn't over-engineer it so it's not really hard to just make it out of sync. But yeah, it's not that hard. It's not. It's one of my more. It's like pretty much the only thing I modified on that Q2 is really just making the drivers out of sync, which is not a bad thing. I'm not sure if it's easier for other articulated steam engines, but if you have a Broadway Limited Q2 and you have in sync drivers, you want to make it go out of sync. Again, it's not that really hard. And it won't damage your model or anything like that. It's so simple. I like the bell, although it does sound rather, old. What I mean is, the quality of the bell sounds old. But I like it. I like the bell. So we'll have her stop soon, and then we'll run another engine. We'll run the T1. I'll have to get my passenger cars for it. Which, by the way, I still have my engines that I brought at my club a couple days ago, and I still have them on my travel bag for them, so we'll swap them out. love this engine. It has a cab light too, and it's just such a cool engine. Unfortunately, the front marker lights on the Q2 did not work, but I don't really care. It's a cool feature to have. Don't get me wrong. It's just, you know, it's very necessary. Just same with the smoke. You know, the smoke. I mean, most of my engines that I have could smoke. Most of my steam engines. But do I really use it? Not so much. I only do it for just to show people some cool stuff. But other than that, I don't really run my steam engines with smoke. And some people are like, well, that's what steam engines do. I'm like, yeah, but think of it like this. A steam engine that runs efficiently is not going to smoke. If you see it in real life and you see a steam engine not smoking, it's because it's running efficiently. And that's how I like to excuse my steam engines, is that they're running efficiently. But yeah, the Q2 is such a great model. The amount of brass detail, the amount of detailing on this engine is amazing too. It's definitely one of the more detailed brass engines out there for the Q2. But I have to say it's one of the nicer ones. And it's interesting, there's only 25 of these made in real life. There's about only 25 of these. None of them were saved because I'm guessing, I guess the Pennsylvania viewed them to not be saved. Same with the T1s, they were not saved. There was only like 50 of those made, but I'm guessing because of how much maintenance they were like, yeah, I don't want to really save it. But finally, about the Q2 and the pretty much duplexes in general. I'm not sure if all of them had this. I don't think the actual production T1s had it, but there's supposed to be some sort of generator that's powering the rear trucks that helps the locomotive at slower speeds. I believe the Q2 has that. I read about it. I'm not 100% sure. If anybody knows, let me know. But I know the prototype T1s, there were two of them, the 6000 series, 6000 and 6001. Not sure which one of which has them, but one of them had the rear bogie generator to really help the locomotive at lower speeds, and I think it was the prototype T1s. Now, some people think that as delivered is the prototype. Not really. It's not really the prototype. The prototype had like full shrouding that covers a bit of the wheels. And it had a more tapered shark nose that was more pronounced. Those were the prototypes. As delivered is pretty much the production model, and the modified ones were the modern versions, were also production. And there was only 50, which is interesting. That's I mean, you might think that's not a lot. That is a lot compared to a big boy. And there's a lot more big boys saved than T1s. And again, it all comes down, I guess, to like, you know, significance and maintenance. I guess is kind of what dictates of which ones deserve to get preserved or not. But I don't know. I don't know why there's like a whole bunch of big boys saved and not a whole bunch of T1s. Same with the Q2. It's an impressive model. Even in real life, it was considered the most successful out of all the duplexes, which is interesting. It's such a big model. It's got two different wheel sets for the drivers. It got a 4 and a 6, you know? 6 wheels in the rear, 4 wheels in the front that are driving. You would think there would be some sort of imbalance, but somehow they figured it out, and it was more successful than T1. There was only 25 of them. But I think it was the maintenance cost to maintain these things is what really killed them. And that and the J1, which is a borrowed locomotive from the C&O that they turned into a Pennsylvania prototype. Nothing much changed in the boiler or like the smoke box, but it's just the cab and the tender and some other small features, mainly up front. But yeah, the J1 could do a lot of work similar to the Q2 at a cheaper price, cheaper maintenance, and the amount of torque that it can haul is just, it's really close to this engine. So it's like, do you want to go to extra mile and pay more for the Q2, or do you want to buy the J1? So even a model Ford. But yeah, the Q2, really great model. I love it. It's never going to be sold. It's never going to be given away. That's just how it is. It's just a great model. Once you get it, you better hold on to it. Unless you're buying it to try and sell it for a larger price later on, go ahead. That's not my goal with this engine. My goal with this engine is to purposely keep it. It's pretty much one of the flagship freight. It's pretty much the flagship freight locomotive in my Pennsylvania fleet, and it will remain that way. So we're gonna shut her down. And then I'm going to put her back in her box. Now, her tether is kind of finicky in terms of, how can I put it? When you plug it in, it's kind of weird. There we go. And then I'll just got to wiggle it out. I feel like that's the safest way to get these tethers out. But some people say they don't like these tethers that Broadway Limited have, and I can kind of agree. It kind of sucks though, because this engine, compared to the modern Broadway engines, there we go. I got it out finally. My animals are coming to me. I'm like the only one in the house now. But yeah, it's the older models tend to be like, if there were big engines, they didn't have long boxes. I think the T1 did too, but here's the T1's new modern box. It's a long box. Look at this thing. It's huge. And it's tough to put inside my storage area that I have for it, because I barely have to close the door. Otherwise I smashed the box. Nah, the box won't be smashed. But yeah. One of the problems I have is this back piece. Yeah, there's some tarnishing right here. But this place, if they let it go down, it's kind of hard to just... It gets stuck a bit. It's weird. But it's not a major issue. Alright, and it's going back in its box. And the tenders is... Oh my gosh, beautiful. There's what I was talking about. Right there. It doesn't really bother me. You don't really see it. And you know what? It's okay. It's got some characters, what I say. Some people are like, well, it affects the value. Well, I'm not going to sell it. Once I got this, I was like, that's it. It's mine now. I'm not selling it. But yeah, there's a lot of people who are not going to want to sell theirs once they get this engine. Just letting you know, it's going to be hard. And right now, lately, unfortunately, here's the box that it comes in. Paragon 2. And there's the product number and all that stuff. You can take a picture of that or pause the video and check that out. Look it up if you want to. But yeah, it's going to be hard. I haven't seen a Broadway Limited one, Q2 go on sale for a while now. The last one I saw was a bare brass one that was being sold. That was being sold for like $1,300. Yeah, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money for a brass model. Brass hybrid, as a matter of fact. So, since I'm back in here, I don't know. I'll think about it. This is going to be a long video, just letting you all know that I'm running a whole bunch of stuff. So, yeah, let's get these box cars off. These are all Bowser box cars for those who don't know. They're like, I don't know, $12, $20 a piece. And I think, well, it's really expensive for a very not so not so highly detailed model, but like, is the prototype accurate? Not precise on the details. Look how good they roll. If you saw that, it's rolling over like a small divot in the floor. That's how well these things roll. I'm very impressed with these. Even with like the weight of each other coupled to each other, it's amazing. That's why I like these Bowsers, and I want to get more just really Bowser freight cars. So people are like, oh, well, you can get more of the kit stuff. I could, but like, you know, to be honest, I like the ready-to-roll freight cars. They're ready to go. They're ready to get dirty and get jobs done. I might get some kits at some point, just not right now. But yeah, if it comes to like Pennsylvania freight cars and whatnot, right now it's all going to be Bowser, because Bowser pretty much makes a lot of Pennsylvania prototypes. I'm not sure why. Probably because they are based in the Northeast, I think. I know I said I think, I don't really know, but there's an N5C caboose. That's a really nice, well-made caboose. It's $30, $35. It's got weight in there, pre-installed. But, and I'm pretty sure there's like no interior detail, which I don't really care. It's a caboose, it's there, it exists, it's got some extra details. And yeah, they're really nice. I really like this model. We're going to go to another brass model. What are you doing, cat? I'm not going to touch you. The cat's here too. Probably is here. Stop it. I'll slap you. We'll get the passenger cars out. So these are the Rivarossi ones. Now some people are probably like, why didn't you get the, what's it called? Oh, the MTH ones. Do you know how much money those go for? They go for a ridiculous amount of money. And I am not wasting that much money for passenger cars that I'm not even going to... I mean, if you're going to mass passenger cars and you want accuracy, go ahead. Just know it's going to cost a lot of money. I don't have a problem with it, but, you know... I mean, look, I have those MTH, I do have MTH cars, but they're like $50 a piece, and they're really nicely detailed, and to get them for $50 a piece is actually pretty good. Here's the observation car. It's not accurate. It's more like a Pennsylvania prototype observation car. And I know other railroads had the flat end observation cars before, but these came with already metal wheels. I want to figure out what metal wheels these are, because I don't have to change the truck or anything. I really want to figure out if anybody knows. They look like they got pizza cutter kind of metal wheels, but if anybody knows what these wheels are specifically, please let me know. I want to keep a consistency, to be honest. The reason why is pretty much because at my club, these ran perfectly. These are really great runners. I did my own Kadee couplers. It wasn't hard at all. Kadee couplers. Installing Kadees on these is not hard at all. But if you want to see what you have to basically do, there you go. You just get a sheet of styrene from, like, I don't know, Hobby Lobby or something like that, or Michaels. I forgot what I used. I think it's 0.30, 0.03, or 0.020. I forgot. At some point, I'll do a review on these, and I'll have the styrene, and I'll show you what I did with this. But it's super simple. You get a lot of sheets. You can do so many passenger cars and whatnot with like 2 or 3 sheets. It's not even funny. And you get like these Kadee coupler boxes. Usually come in a pair of 10, and then you get these to go with it, and then you make this pretty much as an end result on each end, and they are really good. They're pretty much to gauge. Now, have I properly tested that? No, as an idiot. But guess what? If I haven't had any problems at my club running these, then they probably don't need testing. Because I was running this thing like all the time, this passenger set. Like at least 8 laps, just on and off running with these coaches. And they ran pretty much as if you would buy them brand new today. I would like for them to make these again. I mean, for $20, these are really nice. $25 is what I got these for. $25 each. They're worth it. You know, I got like 5 cars. I want to get a 10-car set. I want to get more of these at some point. But the only issue I have is that one of them has plastic wheels. What you doing, cat? Look, he's off screen. He's sniffing my coaches. He's like, what are you doing? He likes trains. I don't blame him, but, you know, cats, they can be destructive. But I understand he likes the trains like I do, which is fine. He's a boy cat, but I don't think that has to relate with him liking trains. Yeah, these plastic wheels make me... They run okay on this layout, but no, they don't work at my club layout. So I gotta get rid of these. Again, if anybody knows what those metal wheels I just showed earlier, please let me know. I want to get more of these so I want to get a whole huge pack of them so I can probably operate on the more passenger cars in the future, because I see a lot of these are online. I'd like to get them at some point, but I can't really right now. But at some point, I'd like to get more River Rossi passenger cars, not just for New York Central, but mainly for Pennsylvania. This is, so people are probably going to be wondering, since I brought up Pennsylvania and New York Central, people are wondering, what is your railroad? What is my model era railroad? Okay, so for the prototypical people out there, or people who are era specific or railroad specific, mine is Pennsylvania. Now you might be wondering, that's sacrilegious, why do you have New York Central? And the reason why is because I love 20th Century Limited. I think it's a very beautiful train. I like the whistle on the J3A Hudson, especially for the Dreyfuss Hudson. And I was very excited when Broadway Limited was going to make these again, especially with the Keep Alive and all that stuff. So some people are like, well, why don't you get the other one for $100 cheaper? Find a great deal by some, not really a moron, but some guy who just decided, you know what, I'm going to sell my my train set for very underpriced. And I was like, that's how my friend got his Dreyfuss Hudson. And which is good for him. It's not a problem for me. I'm not jealous. Okay, maybe a little, but I think I like mine more than I would if I got the Paragon 2. And I will show why, in case anybody has not seen my previous Dreyfuss Hudson videos. It is such a beautiful sounding locomotive when that whistle goes off. Some people might find it annoying. People are like, uh-oh, what do you mean? It's more like a howler kind of whistle. It's either a 5 or 6 chime. I'm not 100% sure. That's what happens when you don't have any New York Central stuff still running around or preserved. You don't know which is which. And it comes in like the same size box as you'll get for the Streamline K4. The difference is that it has like this foam block in between the cab and the tender, which is for protecting paint purposes, which is fine. Here it is. Very beautiful model. It's a brass hybrid, but it's really brass. That's why when people say, "Oh, it's a brass hybrid," no, it's actually just brass. It just has a die-cast chassis for the locomotive. I mean, here we go. Isn't that a beautiful set? Now it's more white. It's actually white stripes. It's white. I could redo the pinstriping at some point, but you know what? Not right now. I want to get the full train set first, so I can have still the right paint. And I'll try and do professional masking to just get it done right, really. Again, some people are like, well, the gray is slightly off, blah, 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 blah. I don't care, because even with the MTH cars, the gray is slightly off. And, yeah. So, this is era correct. This is actually one of the more prototypically accurate Dreyfuss Hudsons out there. Mainly because this is a 1940s era locomotive. Now, Broadway Limited does make the 1938 paint scheme. No, I said paint scheme because they didn't really do a separate. They didn't really do a separate body or skirting and front cowl for their Dreyfuss Hudson. Now, I might be wondering, okay, what do you mean? So I'll start this engine up. 5454. The last Dreyfuss Hudson. If you see when I back up the side cowling that starts right here, you'll see that it's shorter compared to what you'll see in pictures usually, and that's the 1938 model. And I got the 1941 because they didn't have number 5454 with the blue stripes, which I would have gotten, but the problem is getting blue striped passenger cars, and the Concorde ones, they're nice, but they're not the full-length 85-foot or 80-foot passenger cars. So I'm going to back her up a bit. Here's that whistle. That's the standard whistle. Now that whistle reminds me of the Lionel Legacy J3A. Now the whistle I really got this engine for is for this. There's a lot of reverb in there because that whistle makes that tender rattle. But I like that whistle. It's an accurate whistle for this locomotive. Turn on the headlight, because why not? It's in reverse. There we go. But yeah, if you see the front pilot cowl, the 1938 is all covered up where these air pumps are. And the streamlining goes all the way up in front of this air tank. I think it's called a preheater. I forgot what it's called, but I know what it does. They made this for a reason to improve steam efficiency. But I know what it does. It usually would cover that for the 1938 model. They didn't do that when they made the 1938 version, basically the paint version. So, if you get the 1938, for those prototypical modelers out there, it's not accurate. The MTH one is more accurate in terms of the skirting and the overall streamlining. But, is it really that much of a problem? No. Unless you really want to be accurate, there you go, or precise. I would say precise, but they're not the same thing, same words. But yeah, this engine, I was so glad I got it. It is a nice model. Now the Paragon 2 does not have these gray pilot wheels. For those who did not know. And I'm pretty sure everybody knows that right now. So, for those who don't, they're painted gray for the Paragon 4. And the Paragon 2 just has bare metal wheels. But it doesn't matter which version you get. Although I do prefer this look with those gray wheels and the whistle than the older one. I got it for $700. I know, that's a lot of money. Is it worth it? That depends on to you. For me, yes, this model was worth it. Why did you say was? Well, if I could get a discount for $50 off, I would have been happier. But, doesn't matter. It was brand new, and I love it. I still love it. I love running this engine. This is probably, for the first Paragon 4 engine, pretty much last-minute Paragon 4 installation, which, by the way, if anybody does not know, look at the bottom. It's made in China, FCC ID 2AEZ2 Paragon 3. Now, I don't know, to be honest with you, but I think Paragon 4 is really Paragon 3 3.5. That's what I think. I'm not saying that's what it is. But I feel like, this is why I feel like I say it, I did love this model. I still love it. But it's kind of a little bit misleading when your technical stuff on the side says Paragon 3 at the bottom, even though it's supposed to be Paragon 4. So, this is the limited 1-year warranty, something like that. So I'll probably have to register at some point, but I haven't had any issues with it. I have all my engines, and there's still a lot of engines at Paragon 3 that I have not had engines with. This does not have issues. This locomotive ran very well at my club. I had no issues with it. I had no derails right out of the box, and I am very impressed. And that layout has all sorts of problems, like all sorts. The outer main on the bridge is like slightly like shifted, and, so some trains can get derailed. My TGV train did get derailed on the outer main, not because of the train itself, it's because of the layout and the gap between. It's a movable bridge, so it goes up electronically and down, and the gap was just way too big. It was by like, oh my gosh, some people say inch scale would be like 2 feet. I'm like, well, that's awful. So, yeah, that had to be addressed at some point. Right now, the layout, there's not going to be a lot of layout running, by the way, at the club. Not here, we're going to have a lot of running. But the club, you're not going to see much for about a month at least. They're working on the layout to improve the backside. If you want, check out the Palm-Beach Mile Railroaders on Facebook if you have Facebook, or on Instagram. We'll probably do some. The guy there who operates that will probably post some photos of the teardown and the rebuild of it. Which will be interesting to watch. Anyway, let's start her up. It's a little bit of a stuttery engine, by the way, when it starts. I'm not sure if anybody else has that problem, but I have broken in the engine. I ran there at like 75, 60% speed when I got her, so like 30 minutes or so. So I was like, but she runs great. She has no issues. But yeah, I mean, even if you look at this at like a distance, the Rivarossi cars really do match pretty well with the locomotive. Now I have 5 cars currently. I like to get at most 5, well, at least 5 more coaches. I want to get the dining car with the roof detail, and maybe the double-decker passenger, which a lot of people are saying that's not prototypical. I don't really care. I just want some more coaches on the train, whether they're unique or not. I don't want a dome car. It's the only thing I'll keep prototypical, because a dome car would be sheared off by the roof of a tunnel in the Northeast. We'll run her at speed. Like I said, she's a screamer. But I prefer that whistle. I haven't tried Function 25. Now, don't get me wrong. The regular whistle's not that bad. I'm pressing F25 right now. I'd probably run that sometimes with the normal whistle. I think it sounds fine. I have to say, I like that whistle for the regular J3A, but for, the Hudson, the Super Hudson, as I like to call it, for the Dreyfuss, it has to be the alternate whistle. Now I know people are wondering, can it go faster? Yes, it can go faster. And why not? Let's go as fast as possible. I'm not afraid of this engine going really fast. I run my TGV on here, and that thing's got less weight than this. There she goes. Look at that speed. We're not even at full. Let's go to full. Some people are probably like, you're running a brass hybrid that fast. Are you crazy? Yes, I am crazy. Here we go. Look at her come. We're almost around 90 miles per hour. Now, I don't have one of those Digitrax speed testers, but probably be around 80 something. But to me, this is 90 miles per hour. And that's why I feel like the whistle fits, because when it goes that fast, you just hear the scream coming. There we go, look at that. And that's why I love this engine and I like this train overall. It's just the speed of that Hudson. With that Spartan helmet, front end, and these beautiful passenger cars they're great. And props to River Rossi, because the dark gray on those, let's slow this down. Not because I'm afraid of him, but because it's going really fast. The dark gray on those trucks are really good. It matches the, not 100%, but it matches the pilot wheels color and the trucks of the tender and the trailing truck of the steam engine, which I think is really nice. I really like that. Now I know River Rossi made their own Dreyfuss Hudson. It's a good model in itself. I don't know how reliable it is, but I see a lot of people still use them and still buy them and operate them, and they're old, so my guess is that they're really good. Same with the Broadway Limited brass hybrid. They still run them. You'll see them. I know when you hear that on and off of the chugging and whatnot, when it's pretty much turning lower, is that it's not really pushing steam in there anymore. Although I really wish the transition was better between each, but I'm kind of asking a little bit too much personally. Some people are like, well, no, you're not asking enough. I don't really mind. I just wish it knew like how fast I was like decelerating. Because I'm doing it gradually and it's going off and on with that. Okay, this is such a wonderful model. Here comes Kitty Meow Meow. Always loves these trains. So the River Rossi cars, again, if I don't want to repeating myself on these things, get them if you have a Dreyfuss Hudson. It doesn't matter if it's River Rossi or Broadway Limited. I don't know about MTH. I think MTH is, well, you can. But I think that one matches very well with their MTH cards. But keep in mind, those are pretty hard to find, and good luck trying to buy them because a lot of people try to bid them. And people are going to fight over it, and it's going to be a bloodbath. I'll be honest. Just get the River Rossi. Yes, the paint slightly, the gray, the main body gray is a little bit off. Just a little bit. About this much off. Not this much, but this much. And it's okay. It looks good. At a distance, the grays pretty much blend together because your brain's trying to like make sense of what it's looking at. And of course it's seen gray, but then it mixes the colors together to look the same with the locomotive. Depends on the lighting conditions too. But the stripes match pretty much the dark gray or the stripe pretty much matches almost spot on. I would argue it's pretty much spot on. But the pinstriping silver, it's white, but it's like a silverish white, and that needs to eventually be changed. I won't change the lettering from the silver. I think the silver's fine. But the pinstriping might change one day to a white to match the locomotive. I might not. I might keep it the way it is. But I'd like to get, again, 5 more coaches. It doesn't matter if I get the same named cars again. I really don't care. I just want a full complete set. Because I feel like a 10-car train is what this train deserves to pull. This locomotive deserves to pull a 10-car set. I don't want any more of these badge or RPO cars. I just want more coaches, sleepers, really sleepers. I need sleepers. I need sleepers, and then I need a dining car. So I need pretty much either 1 or 2 sleepers, 1 diner, and 2 more coaches. And there you go. I have my set. I have my train set. Preferably, I would like to have the Bear River Rossi cars. I'd rather just replace the wheels and change the couplings. Hello, Kitty. I know. It's a lot going on, huh? His mama's gone. She went to college, so it's just me and him. And the other dog. Slow it down by accident. But yeah, it's such a great set, this train. So, the Paragon 4 Broadway Limited. Broadway Limited. Well, yeah, made by Broadway Limited. Dreyfuss Hudson is a really great model. Even though I already did a review on it, and I'm just talking about it. Only 10 of these Dreyfuss Hudsons, around 10, yeah. 10 have been made in real life, and all were scrapped, unfortunately. And 54, 54 is pretty much the last Dreyfuss Hudson. And I think the last Hudson overall, too. So, Yeah, it's a great model. Some people are like, oh, they're going to make one with the PT Tender. I think the PT Tender personally looks ugly with the Dreyfuss Hudson. I think it works better with the regular non-streamlined locomotives. It's more utilitarian in design. This is purposely designed to be streamlined, but I understand why they went with the PT Tenders later on, because they were better. These were great, but then they made them, pushed them to pretty much second class railroads. And I don't know if anybody knows Boston and Albany, but they pretty much took the non-streamlined versions of these tenders that the J3As and J1s and J2s had. Oh yes, and these engines also had, I believe, and I'm not sure if they all did, but they had some sort of generator similar to the T1s and the Q2s had for low speed performance. They really went above and beyond for these engines to really perform almost at any level and speed, which is great. I think that's cool, especially when that 464 Hudson was really more like a flat land kind of flat terrain kind of runner, which is interesting because Florida has flat terrain pretty much all the way up, and it's baffling that Florida East Coast never had a Hudson, or even made a Hudson. So I find that strange. I believe they had a 484, but I'm not 100% sure. Now the turnoff is pretty much the same as Paragon 3. It's got similar Paragon or same Paragon 3 sounds. Some people like it, some people don't. I know why, and I get it. But I like it. I think it's fine. I know a lot of modelers are like, well, it's not accurate, and Broadway pretty much makes one of the most beautiful models out there in terms of steam engines and HO scale right now. And Broadwell is pretty much the only ones that make a lot of steam engines now. They used to be MTH for HO, but that's it. MTH is gone now, so it's just Broadway Limited, and now Broadway Limited is free to charge what they want. Until somebody decides to make steam engines that rival them at a more affordable price. No, I'm not sure how much more affordable, but at least competitive enough to really not make these prices absolutely ridiculous sometimes. I've seen that. Union Pacific. Speaking of which, let's do a little bit of a rant, actually. Yes. The Union Pacific 484, or as many people call it, the FIF, or the FEF. $550 retail at the stores, including online. That's a lot. That's a lot, man. I'm just saying. I don't understand why it's that much. It's really popular, and everyone knows what 484 is. But I think that's way too much for what it is. And some people are wondering why. I'm not even gonna buy it, so why do you care? Well, I like to think for others too, and I'm not that kind of asshole where I'm like, oh, well, this and this and this and this and this, you should do that, you should do... No, I'm not like a parent. Thank God I'm not. Almost took the coaches with it. I gotta really get... Oh, it's turning on because it's... Now, here's what I don't get. You heard it turn on, right? So, I took it off the track. It still has power to the track. But I think even if I turn off the power, it turns itself back on. I'm wondering, I gotta ask Broadway Limited, why does it do that? I just want to know. I'm not upset or like against the idea. I'm just wondering, why does it do that? I'm curious, because to me, that makes no sense. If I want it off, I want it off. But what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Hold on, this thing's a little bit tedious right now. Get this in the box. I know. Thank you, Drawbar. You finally connected There we go. It's in this box. What are you doing, cat? This is not a playground. I mean, I wish it was a playground, but it's not. But yeah, $559. Some people are like, oh, that's a fair price. You know, it's a brand new model. They got to pay for it. The stuff and whatnot. Inflation. Some people, I haven't heard anybody say inflation. But if they do, I would say no. No, I know why they're selling at this price. I know exactly why. This is a very popular engine, and I know a lot of people are going to buy it compared to Athearn, because Athearn is selling a plastic one for a lot more expensive price. And I have to say to Athearn, what the fuck are you thinking? Yeah, I'm serious. I dropped the F-bomb right there. What the heck? Really? But, like, what is that? Like, come on. We saw $700 at some point. I was like, what is that? Now, if anybody was going to buy that, good for you, I guess. I mean, you got money, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But people are like, well, wondering, well, you brought a Bass Hybrid. Hudson, fair enough. But how many people make the J3A Hudson, right? Same thing with the FEF. How many people make the FEF? Well, Riff Rossi made the FEF. I don't know if they're ever going to do that ever again. Riff Rossi seems to be making more European stuff. Now, they do make some American stuff, but it's like, you don't see it anymore. I think River Rossi's owned by Hornby now. The British company that makes usually British rail trains and locomotives. Which, by the way, anybody who knows Joe F for the French trains and all that stuff, it's also owned by Hornby. Now, Hornby makes some winners, and they make some stinkers. I don't have any Hornby British locomotives. Would I get one at some point? Maybe. But this is mainly Pennsylvania. I would just do it for shits and giggles and for fun. Same thing with the New York Central. Why do I have the sacrilegious New York Central on the Pennsylvania division that I've made? Keep in mind, this is... This railroad's fictional. So meaning that this never existed. So people are like, well, you're not going to model like a real Pennsylvania. I never was there back then. I could look at photos all I want, but I'd really like to capture the era and the feel of it, but like make it a lot more clean. And that's why people are like wondering why you're not. Will you do any weathering? I don't really like weathered engines, not because I want to resell them or anything like that. It's not the reason. The reason is that once you do it, it's going to be really hard to get rid of it or to change it. So people probably would disagree, and they could probably show me otherwise. That's fine. I don't mind. I'd like to see it otherwise, to be honest with you. But currently, no, I do not want to change the colors of the locomotives or do weathering or anything of that sort. I like to capture the era of trains as if they were in a magazine cover. They show that, you know, the proud, grand side of it. And some people are like, oh, that sounds like propaganda. And you might be like, well, that's every magazine. But yeah, that's true. But at the same time, I just like to capture the era, and I really want to make like a big city kind of look, kind of layout, and maybe a little bit of greenery too that goes off to like a to Florida or something like that. Although Pennsylvania didn't really operate in Florida pretty much, but they did have trains that would come down here. So it is pretty prototypical that the Pennsylvania would go to a lot of places, if not almost any place in the country. Usually passenger trains, but yeah. That's why they call it the standard railroad of the world. It almost went anywhere in the United States, and they made some pretty cool stuff. They made their own stuff. Now, I'm not saying other railroads didn't make their own prototypes, but Pennsylvania my gosh, you have so many unique locomotives, it's not even funny. So I will go and get those Bachmann passenger cars, which there's a lot of controversy on, which I will talk about them, and I will do a review on them at some point, but I will do some quick talks about them. I thought I'd first put my Dreyfuss Hudson away, so I don't like leaving my mess about. Because before I move stuff in the storage unit, my stuff was pretty much like in the corner of the layout, where you're pretty much all seeing near like a Brightline poster usually. And I gave the one with the locomotive that people usually saw in my videos to my club, because family members was wondering, hey, why don't you give one of those to the club? They might be interested. I'm like, that's a good idea. And I really like the the locomotive, but I got the shops one, which you get to see the trains at the shop, and the shop is pretty colorful too. You might see that later in future videos. You might have already saw it already. But yeah, so we'll close this up. I'll bring my Bachmann Lewis and Nashville FA2. Those are nice models. They're not, to be honest, I used to run these pretty well, but I don't really run them much anymore. Not for any particular reason, well, other than that they're not Pennsylvania. Will I sell them? Maybe, maybe not. If you know any Lewis and Nashville people, at some point, maybe I will sell them. I might sell them for, I got the A unit, I'll probably like, I don't know, $100. Some people are like, well, that's too much. It ran it. I'll probably sell them for like, I don't know, $150, $200. So you're like, well, that's a lot of money for Bachmann diesels. I could probably get that cheaper. You probably could. That's just a number that I threw out there. Now, some people probably saw my Roco engine at some point. We'll talk about that at one point. I might show it in this train talk. Probably not. I'm probably just going to run 2 more trains, really. I'm going to run the regular Bachmann K4 1361, and I'm going to run the T1, the same train set. Now, it's interesting, for the 100th video, I was thinking about pulling out number 5548, but I have number 5520 here. You might be wondering, why not 5548 if that was your first Pennsylvania locomotive? Well, it's inside there, and I'll have to move a lot of stuff, which will take a lot of time. So not really right now do I want to get 5548, but I'll probably do that for another train video, maybe for the 200th or something video. Why am I celebrating? That's a good question. I don't know, I just do these videos for fun. I don't really expect much out of them, to be honest with you. I mean, it's fun to see people look at your videos and whatnot, but to be honest, I just don't let it bother me. I'm not looking to turn this into a career. And if it becomes a career, wow, that's cool and all. I could just do trains and whatnot. And if people want to donate, they could. I mean, I'm not going to really use it for my personal life. That would just be more trains for people to see. At some point, I want to make a layout. Speaking more personally, I want to make a layout that I can invite people over to come see trains run and all that stuff. I know I was supposed to talk about these, but I want to get this out of my way. I want to build a layout that people I can show and come by and bring their kids over and like have a good watch and whatnot of trains and whatnot, just to see people smile and I like to see people have a good time. That's just me, and I like to help people and whatnot. So that's my ultimate goal, is just to make a nice big layout so I can invite people over and have pretty much an open house every weekend or something like that. I'm not sure if family members would like that. Not mine. This is not my house, but when I get my own place, I'd like to have a basement, I hope, or some place to really just build my layout and invite friends and family over and other people over. You want to see trains and whatnot. It's just my ultimate goal, really. I feel like I would be fulfilled if I did that. I would build a layout that people can enjoy and watch, and I could probably come up with ideas to have that I want to do for the layout over there at the club, but that's my goal. So the Bachman coach is finally getting back on track. These were around close to $50 a piece, and you're probably wondering, well, why did you buy these? This is ridiculous. They're like twice the price for an older Bachman heavyweight, which now go for like $60 to $70. And to be honest, Bachman, this is way too much. Now I know people buy them, but people, let me tell you this: just buy the older ones and modify them. They're fine. They're good. They're good passenger cars. The problem is that they have metal trucks, and you know why. That's not a good thing if you understand electrical stuff, because they will cause shorts on certain layouts. It does happen. It didn't really happen at my club layout, but that's how you know how old some of these models are. Alright, so let me back these up, and let me get number 1361. There we go. She hasn't ran in a bit, but that's okay. We'll get her going. Actually, let me see something. Gotta get that dust out. That's what happens when you have trains sitting on the ground. Now, some people are like, well, why don't you put it on a table? I'm like, well, why do I have a cat? You know? Cats, I like my sister's cat, although I do find it to be a pain in the butt. Sorry, cat lovers. It's just how I view him. He's a pain in the butt. Especially when he wants attention. He just grabs my leg like, dude, I don't feel the same way with you like that. I like you. I love you as a brother, but not my leg, please. Especially when he wants attention. Anywho. Yeah, that's why I keep everything on the floor. So that's, I know it's not the greatest thing. I get to lay down, but you know, I can't see things at eye level, and it's actually really fun when you see things at eye level. But for my safety, my trains, and for my sanity, and for other people's bank accounts, specifically my sister's, everything stay on the ground for now until I have my own place, or if my sister takes her cat at some point. I don't really worry about the dog. He don't do shit. Alright, let's start her up. Automatically starts up. Let me back the locomotive up so everybody can see the locomotive. Let's go. Oh, wait. I didn't put in the address. There you go. This is what happens. You're not paying attention. Oh my god, at slow speed. Why is it going forward? You're supposed to go in reverse, sir. Hold on. There we go. Look at the slow speed. Oh my gosh. That is amazing. It does it. It's slowly moving. And I'm so impressed. And this is an old model. This is like 7 or 8 years old, guys. Like, this is ridiculous. This is why I would buy this over Broadway Limited. Some people are like, well, there's not enough detail. It's not the most accurate. True, but this is a really solid model. So solid. Although that's not really solid with the hand grab iron or the handle for like the ladder back there. But I really like this model. When I was really impressed with the performance on this engine, and it still performs really well. Problem is, it doesn't have a keep alive, so it can't really operate super well at my club. Although there is a lot of pickup. I don't know about that. Pickups, lots of pickups. However, I'm guessing this engine's showing its age because the headlight does not work anymore. I pressed O for 0. And it doesn't turn on really much anymore, so I'll have to get a new LED. I'll have to figure that out to put a new LED in there. But right now, she runs as a day locomotive, not really a night locomotive in terms of era-specific codes and rules and safety. Steam engines didn't really run with the headlights on back in those days, but now they do during the day because of safety and all that stuff, which is interesting. But, you know, it is what it is. What are you going to do? Doesn't matter. Still people get run over by trains. I don't know how, but they do. And like, come on, man. It's the easiest thing to avoid is a train, unless it's going flying around a corner and it flies off. But you have to be living there or staying there for you to get hit by a derailing train flying around a tight corner. Still, it's just, come on. Anywho, enough rant about real life problems. The Bachmann K4, the one that comes with sound, really good. The one with DCC that looks exactly like this, the dark gray smoke box. This is black, actually. It's not DGLE, although it's really close compared to that locomotive behind it. It's actually slightly green, and you can definitely see it in the video, but it's okay. Fine with it. In real life, the locomotives look black. But the thing is that this is a really solid model. At some point, I will open the bottom up and we'll take the shell off of the locomotive to see what we're working with here. I think this will be my third locomotive. I'll mainly start with the diesels because those are easier to open up and whatnot. And I'll show you the insides of the diesels, what makes them tick, and we'll operate them on here to see if they're really worth it or not. But yeah, Bachmann, I don't know why they can't do this with their auto models. I'd like to get their North Fork and Western J1. I know, another road name locomotive. Just to really test out, to hopefully give to the club, really. Because the Broadway Limited one at my club, going off another rabbit hole, that they had a Paragon 1 and that one's gears cracked, and Broadway Limited, it's like, well, we don't make those gears anymore, so you're shit out of luck, my friend. So they're like, well, we're gonna have to cut out the motor and make her a free-rolling running model that gets pushed around by a diesel or something pulling a train, which is to us steam people who like steam, it's not really like a fun food for thought, but that's pretty much is what's going to probably happen, since there's no replacement idling gear that gets that got its gears tooth or whatever got chewed up. Even though they sent it to Broadway Limited, and Broadway Limited's like, we can't fix this, and it's like, are you kidding me? You guys say these are not throwaway locomotives? I don't know. I just why, you know, with Broadway Limited, you know, I understand it's old, but still, you guys say these are not throwaway locomotives. Stick with it, please. I mean, even the old Paragon ones, give them the better, just make the same gears, but not exactly the same. Make them better quality, you know, just have a better quality for them so that people are not, you know, frustrated and have to like scourge for like spare parts online for ridiculous prices because they're all getting used up. You guys got to make more if you're not going to make these engines that often. It doesn't matter if it's a T1, a Q2, even though that probably not come again. Who knows? Any other brass? It's same with the brass engines. It doesn't matter. You got to keep making spare parts for them, especially for running. I'm not so worried about the body or shells or anything like that or the details, but I'm more so worried about the track, the gears and the motor. It needs to be top notch. And Bachmann, for a plastic model that's like 7 or 8 years old with Tsunami 1. This was DCC and Sound Ready that I got for a really good price. It was like $160. I've seen people try to sell these online. The other one, 5371 or whatever it's called, or 3571 or something like that. What the other surviving steam engine that pretty much they made, and yeah, people are selling those for ridiculous prices. Stop it. It's a Bachmann model. You're not gonna get the same. I mean, some people probably bought them, and good for you. Good job, you got them. But it's really $160 for the 7 or 8 year old ones because you don't know what you're getting when you get these, and I didn't know what I was getting when I got this too. I heard these were good from my friend Charles, and he says they're pretty good, really good. They're not gonna shit the bed on me, which is great. But just be aware of what you're getting. Anything that's the lighter smoke box or some of the detail painting, fancy 1920s, 30s kind of spiel going on, don't get it. It looks nice, but don't get it. Usually they go for $90 or less. Some people try to overprice them, but don't. If you want to get one just to get one, go ahead, but they have gear problems. Not this one, but the older ones. This one and the DCC Ready one they're solid. Get them. But the other road name, which seems to be the rarer one for some reason, I'm pretty sure they made an equal number of those. Doesn't matter. It should be at around $160, even if it has DCC and sound or DCC Ready. It doesn't matter. It shouldn't cost that much for a 7 or 8 year old Bachmann. I'm sorry, that doesn't work. Doesn't matter. The new one we'll talk about. By the way, here's the whistle. I know it's amazing. I'll have it running. The new Bachmann. Unfortunately, they're asking $320 on these websites, especially Train World. It's not your fault, Train World. Although I don't really appreciate the price on Train World. $320 for these to come back again with TCS WoW. I don't know where Bachmann gets these prices from. Where do they pull these from? And MSRP is $500. $500 for that? I got this for $160. And I can tell you this, I can get this engine, right, for DCC Ready for the same price I got it, similar or lower. And I could just install TCS WoW cheaply with Keep Alive, and I would still get the same locomotive pretty much for like a lot cheaper. $250 should be like the ideal price for this K4 to sell at. It is just absolutely ridiculous that Bachmann priced this thing so high. I'm sorry, Bachmann, but that's just the truth right there. That's way too much. And for those who pre-ordered it, good for you. I'm not going to judge you. Would I do it? No. I thought about it, but I was like, no, I want two more of these. I want the 2 more of these in TCS WoW. People are like, well, why don't you get the Scale Trains one eventually that they're going to probably make, or the Broadway Limited. People price those things when they try to sell them. They try to sell them for like $470, $500 for like Paragon 3 ones. And Paragon 3 is, let's all be honest here, it's not the greatest decoder. I'm sorry, but that's ridiculous. Same with the Bachmann. Like, what the gosh, man. $500. Yes, TCS WOW, amazing. Keep Alive, great. I got my Bachmann Streamline for $200. And it runs pretty much the same as this, but the pulling power just kind of disappoints me a bit. We'll run it faster. I just find it so ridiculous. I do like this whistle, by the way. I'm pretty sure it's not Pennsylvania accurate, but I like it. It's got crew figures in there too, I believe. If it does, I can't believe I don't remember if it had crew figures or not. Well, wait until it comes around. But still, like, $200 I got, and it's only like, what, 2 or 3 years old, that Streamline K4 that Bachmann made? I got it for $200. Try and get them while you can, by the way. I did a review on it. It was the first review I did. Try and get it while you can. It's worth it for $200. Same, probably at $250, but once you see at $200, you gotta get it. I'm sorry. You have to get it. It's just, if you're a Pennsylvania guy, regardless if you love Bachmann or not, their running gear is not bad. Their motors could be stronger, but they're good. They're solid. They're 5-pulse motors. Get it. It's worth it. Personally, I think it's worth it. Same with this. If you can get this with like the original one, get it. It's a great running model. It runs so great for a 7 or 8-year-old model. And it's probably going to still keep running long after. I don't run it super fast or anything like that. This is normally how fast I usually run it, is around notch 3. This is not the same in speed steps, I know, but bear with me, I'm using a Digitrack Zephyr. I really like the sound, though, of the chuffing. I know some people might like it or hate it, but I like that sound. So yeah, ending the rant with Bachmann. You're gonna have. I suggest you wait until the prices of the return of the K4 with the TCS WOW go down. I mean, down, like a third of the price off, you know, like that's at the retailers and the train roll and all that. You gotta wait until they're like $100 off or so, because it's just, in my opinion, it's way too much. I know this is pretty much one of Bachmann's best-selling models. Same with their 280 consolidations. They're the best-made ones that the Bachmann's made, and they're really solid built, but it's not worth it. It's not exactly accurate. You're asking $320, $230 for a model that's not even like as close as possible accurate. Broadway Limited's K4 is a lot more accurate. They're not completely accurate, but they're a lot more accurate. Now, why am I talking about accuracy when I don't even have the most accurate stuff? Because this is for people who want, you know, who want that side of the opinion where it's like, well, I want complete accuracy, and I want it to be like exactly how it was. Like, they want it to be as realistic as possible. Yeah. Bachmann doesn't have it, and they're trying to sell it for $329 when Broadway Limited sold the K4 for around $350. I'm sorry. No. I don't care if it's $30 difference. Bullshit. It should be at most $250. The new K4s by Bachmann with TCS WOW. I'm sorry. Sorry to Bachmann if they ever watch this, but that's just truth right there. I strongly disagree with the pricing. I will never pay for that kind of price. That is ridiculous. I will wait until they're heavily discounted. And I want to get 2 locomotives. I want to get... Doesn't matter. I want them both post-war. I know a lot of people like the pre-war look. I prefer the post-war look. It looks modern, looks utilitarian. And I like the slatted... I like the slat... not the slatted pilot, but the steel pilot. The solid steel pilot. Alright, so we'll bring it to a stop. And it's great that I got 1361 out because 1361 is being restored to operating condition. And I'm happy about that. And I'm pretty sure a lot of Penske fans are too, and a lot of Steam fans. This is one of the most famous K4s out there. Even though, for those who do not know, this K4 operated in New Jersey as a commuter train. What do you know? The Juniata Jewel is actually Pennsylvania's jewel. Actually, no, not Pennsylvania. Why did I say that? It was so dumb. It's New Jersey's jewel. Because it operated in New Jersey. Although it was made in Pennsylvania. Let's be real here. In Altoona. But that's where she worked. Most of her life was in Pennsylvania on commuter trains. Which would be interesting to see her in New Jersey. Doing what she did back then. So we'll turn her off. I love having this locomotive out. Unfortunately, I do not have a box for this. So she's usually just sitting inside there. On a shelf inside the storage area. Or on the ground. Just sitting there. And now, finally, the T1. We end it on, in my opinion, a high note. This is an interesting locomotive. When I looked at the schematics for this locomotive, when they exploded parts diagram, interesting enough, the T1's drive system is similar to a diesel's drive system, and and the fact that it doesn't have a one-sided can motor for a drive shaft. It's both sides. There's a drive shaft that powers a worm gear, which runs the gears to here, and the front driver wheel in the first set of drivers. And then the real last one right here. So there's a motor in between, and it's got a worm gear on each side with the intermediate gears that go down to each wheel. And I thought that was interesting. Which is also where the wheel guide lip, the little lip that every train has the powered part. It's interesting. I'm surprised they didn't use a can motor to just run both of them. But hey, whatever's easier, I guess. I mean, the Q2 does not have that, but this has pretty much a model diesel's drivetrain system. So, yeah, that's interesting. So we'll start up 5520. When I have the power on. Now this T1 has lighted number boards right here and marker lights up front. They're only white. There's no rear marker lights, which I think kind of sucks, but that's okay. It doesn't bother me really at all. So the difference between 5520 and 5548 is the difference where the whistle is around over here and these are right on the nose and some other stuff. Oh, and there's no extra roof streamlining right here. It's just a flat deck on the back, and the pilot's different as well. So there is a lot of difference between the two T1s. And some people are wondering, why did you get two T1s? Isn't one T1 enough? No, it's not enough. When your favorite locomotive is the T1, you gotta have two. Both versions. And I will get a third one once 5550 is finally being made in HO scale form. Probably by Broadway Limited. I hope it comes as a Paragon 4. That'll probably be like the end all of steam engines. If nobody makes a brass hybrid Q1, I hope not, because that would suck for me in terms of wallet and money. So, yeah. Pennsylvania Railroad 4444 Duplex T1. Let's back her up first. I like that bell. I actually really like it. I'm not sure if it's Pennsylvania accurate. I don't know if everything's accurate or not, but I like the bell. Whistle sounds, they shouldn't change it. I know a lot of people are like, really? That does sound like Pennsylvania free chime. That does sound like the T1's whistle. It's not 100% accurate, but I like it, and I hope to keep that whistle for future J1s and other Pennsylvania prototypes. I feel like it's a solid whistle. I feel like that whistle matches these big steam engines. It's a massive locomotive. It's pretty much the same size, if not maybe slightly longer than the big boy. This will be America's longest steam engine once it's finished. It's just that big. The locomotive itself maybe not be as big as the big boy, but the tender, oh my gosh, the coast to coast. Some people call it the, I forgot what the other official name they call it. I just call it the coast to coast, because it looks like it could go coast to coast. It won't. But it is that kind of tender. It's just so massive. This is such a massive locomotive, and I love it. It is amazing. Again, we got the front marker lights over here on, and some people are wondering what do you love about this locomotive? I like the design. I like this duplex design. I think it's really cool, personally. There's a lot more balance, I think, with these two. Yeah, it's got a longer stroke, but even the articulateds had a longer stroke, because usually the drums are like over like the front pilot and whatnot, and the rear ones didn't have that much. But I feel like this is a rather balanced looking locomotive. That's my personal opinion, and I like the streamlined tender, and I just like this really proud, grand shark nose look to it. It looks aggressive, but it also looks elegant at the same time. And it's not my first T1. This came much later, but 5548 was my first one, and I'll run that in a future video again. That got a decoder replacement. I kind of wish I got the decoder replacement later, because when I got my Streamline K4 fixed, when I got its decoder fixed, it has a new decoder that has a Keep Alive in it. I want all my T1s to have Keep Alives. They run. I haven't run 5520 at the club, but 5548 did it okay. But I think it needs a Keep Alive for club layouts. It's a club layout. It's a lot more tough and whatnot than your regular at-home layout, or in this case, an oval. T1s are loud. These T1s are really loud. The chuffing is not the best sounding, but I like it. It sounds very heavy. It sounds like a heavy steamer. We'll run her at speed. Now, I'm not sure if these T1s have 3-pole motors. If anybody knows and opened these up, please tell me what type of motors that these T1s have. I heard from my friend Charles that they're probably 3-pole motors, which they're not completely bad. Don't get me wrong. Some of the 3-pole motors are really good. But I think it's really just the decoder or the type of 3-pole motor is what really bothers me. Because, you know, I want to own these engines for a very long time. I really don't want to ever have to sell them for brand new versions. And I hope that's how Broadway Limited's turning into. I hope they did that. Because I would never buy another product then if they tried to do that. Like, don't do that, please. I don't need, like, these are not cars, okay? These are not cars that you buy where they try to, like, oh, well, we'll make a newer model every freaking 5 years. And I'm like, no, I want to keep buying them and keep using them for years and years and years to come. Decades. Uh-oh, something derailed. I wonder why. I probably didn't put it correctly on my track. Well, I got to re-rail. Let's see what happens. No. Okay, stop. There you go. Okay. It's strange it shouldn't derail. I don't know why my video quality is going down. I'm sorry about that. I guess it was trying to autofocus for some reason. That's strange. Oh, it's back to normal. But yeah, I don't know. I seem to be really angry at Broadway Limited, even though I like their steam engines. I really do. I like their Baldwin Shark diesels, and I like their E series. I just wish they got some cool stuff, but gosh, Broadway, can you please just try and get it right? And I feel like for Paragon 4, they seem to have gotten it right. Finally. I mean, they only made their own decoders for what? 10, 20, 15 years? Paragon 1 was pretty much just QSI. But, you know, it's just... Oh my gosh. Please, I love the details, but please improve on the long-term reliability of these engines. And you guys will be solid. That's what I feel like Broadway needs to improve on the most, is the long-term quality. With their decoders and, you know, their drive systems. Although they do pretty well. Don't get me wrong. There are some good models that some people have that are like old and they're just running like brand new. But I feel like with Paragon 3, it's like, come on, man. You shouldn't have to give people warranties. Unless something, you know, breaks because they dropped it or something, or, you know, but like still, like, you know, not to shit on you, Broadway Limited, but I love your engines, don't get me wrong. I'm just doing this because I care. You guys gotta really, you know, work on the decoders, like, you know, reliability and drivetrain. And 5-pole, everybody's pretty much 5-pole now. You know? Helical gears too. That shit's really good. That Golthers uses. Try and invest into that. It's such a great model. Now this engine's getting close to a year old, by the way. So I hope it doesn't crap out, the decoder, or I'm gonna really mad. But at some point, I might want to improve my Locomotives decoders. If anybody hears some squealing, that's the Bachmann passenger cars. They're not the best rolling out there. They're okay. They do all right rolling, but for $50, going back on those coaches, the price is really the FOM livery is pretty accurate in terms of colors. Yes, these coaches are lighted, but the FOM livery, I don't think anybody else has this as accurate, except maybe the brass companies, which are really expensive, by the way. And I believe Walthers did some heavyweights, but I don't think they did Streamline, and I'm pretty sure the Streamlines are not going to be cheap as well. So again, Bachmann's going to probably be your cheapest option for these FOMs. However, it's been about a year since they made these FOM coaches. So, I mean, it's going to be tough getting the entire set like I did. Their prices for these are going up, actually. You might find these some on discount still at stores, but I've seen prices on these going up, especially the passenger cars. I'm not sure how much the observation card goes. Some I've seen go for like $100 for just a coach, which is ridiculous. That's just utterly ridiculous. I pre-ordered the dining car so I can have a 6-car set. I hope they make a sleeper car or two. Again, it's around just about $50. Some people like this is ridiculous, and I'll be honest. And I agree with my buddy Trainman 440. These are a little bit too expensive. $40 most, but $30 is what I would rather pay for it, even with the lighting and the amount of detail. But I think the FOM livery being pretty much spot on in terms of accuracy is what drove the price for these. We'll do the F25. I like that. F25. Sounds like it's going through a tunnel, though. Since it's a passenger engine, this is a high-performance locomotive. Let's see how fast you can really go. Oh yeah, we're gonna go as fast as that T1 went. Keep in mind, this is going at 5. We're going past 5 now. I feel like this engine goes. This is going definitely, I feel like, faster than than the other engine. This engine looks like it's flying at 120, 130 miles per hour. Now, I'm pretty sure with the scale, speed reader, it's actually going slower than that. But this looks like 120 miles per hour, 130. Look at that thing soar. That is amazing. Blink and you'll miss it. Not really. But I don't normally run my trains really fast, though. I feel like those FOM coaches just really match that high-speed kind of look with this. Yeah, they're $50 a pop when I got them brand new, but now the prices are going up for these things. I'm glad to be honest, I'm kind of glad I got the set now. I like them. I don't dislike them. I don't regret getting them. I'm not going to sell these. We're going to slow down now. It's still flying. We're getting close to 5. We're at 5. Again, if anybody's understanding why I'm saying 5, 4, or full, it's if you look up the dial for the Digitrax Zephyr, you'll understand. I know I sound like I'm talking down. I'm not trying to talk down. I'm just helping people who are probably new or probably watching this for the first time understand what's going on. Trust me, I'll stop doing this from now on. We're going down to 4. And at some point, the train just exponentially becomes more like gauging for slower speeds. So we're going to go down to 3. And if you watch, when we go down to 3, it just exponentially becomes slower. Now we're going like yard, almost like leaving the yard kind of speed. It's got like a weird curve. It's like going like this. It's like going like this. It's sort of like curved for like the decoder's programming for this engine speed. So we're gonna bring her around front, and then we're gonna wrap up the video with some few more talks. Essentially, it'll make you ring your ears. Not like annoyingly ring them, but like it'll ring your ears because it's on the ground. It's reverbing the sound back up and then back down again and to the side. I'm pretty sure on the layout it's not ridiculously loud, which I have ran on before, so it's not that really loud. But it's still loud. I had to change the CV values on my L1. It was so soft. I'm like, this is a little bit soft. I'm going to go back to factory settings. And I was like, wow, that's loud. But we'll run those at a certain point. I'll run the L1 again. So I just dropped it down to 0. And it still has some momentum, and I like that. It's pretty cool. So we'll shut her down. Sounds like it's got 2 dynamos. Yeah, I do like those lighted coaches for the Bachmann. It's just, they're really nice. It reminds me of the Fleet of Modernism coaches I used to have for O-Gauge by MTH. They're really nice. I really like that orange-yellow glow, that golden glow. It's really nice. It might be a little bit too bright compared to like you would see in real life, but they're really nice. But yeah, this is my first train talk, by the way, as for the 100th video. I know, right? I don't know if I'll do another train talk. Like, I'm not gonna do it every day. That'll be ridiculous, and people are like, "What the fuck? Why would I want to watch this for 2 hours? A 2-hour long video, you know?" That is ridiculous. But some guy running like 4 trains and talking about them and ranting a little bit, you know. No, it might be a once a week thing, or once, you know, every other week, or maybe once a month or something like that. Just something different, you know, something fun if somebody wants to relax and just hear somebody talk about, you know, trains and, you know, and whatnot. So, yeah, this is the first train talk for my reviews and blog series. It was pretty fun. To be honest, I had a lot of fun doing this, pulling out trains and putting different trains on the track and whatnot and putting them away. I don't think I'll do anything that's longer. I think I'll keep it to like, you know, 30 minutes for each train and whatnot. You're going to be seeing these box cars a lot. I do have other freight cars, but not enough to really do like long, different versions of freight trains and whatnot at the moment. And I like to get more cabooses too. But for right now, when it comes to train talks, you're really going to be seeing different locomotives and passenger cars, and sometimes train sets. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Although it doesn't sound like I'm gonna have a lot of fun. It sounds like I have a headache. No, I'm gonna have a lot of fun. Trust me, I'll have a lot of fun. All right, then. This is the Pennsylvania Florida Eastern. I hope you guys enjoyed this first train talk, and for the 100th video of my channel. And I wish you guys all a great day. Bye bye now.
Just took up some of the buildings so that I could do the technical background training. That's all it is. Generally, it's usually when we do all this cloud, they will put you back in the mountains.